Hey everybody, it's Andy and I'm here at DFW Airport and, well, there's really no other way to say this. I think I found a somewhat of a loophole and I've gotten everything coordinated, and even though it's still, quarantine and pandemic and all that, I am going on a European road trip. So here at DFW Airport, getting ready to leave. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Well, I am here. I've secured a Tesla Model 3 for this road trip, and we are starting this road trip in none other than Dublin. Now, Dublin is the capital of Ireland, which is known as the Emerald Island, because the island is full of these lush green landscapes. Now, these are corn statues, I guess. I didn't know that Ireland was known for corn. I thought it was known more for, like Guinness beer or whiskey or things like that. So it was interesting seeing so much corn, but that's fine. When you travel, you learn new things about places. Now, one of the things that Ireland is known for is the Waterford Crystal Factory, where they make these beautiful, intricate crystal carvings and sculptures and things like that out of just the most beautiful, beautiful crystal. And I think I found it. We're here on Waterford Drive. Now, I couldn't find anything that looked like a big factory or anything like that, but I did find this, which obviously that has to be, it's a work. I thought it would have been more than a shed, but I guess that has to be the Waterford Crystal Factory, so that's pretty cool. All right, so I just left the Visitor Information Center, and I asked where the Guinness factory was, and they had no idea what I was talking about, but I think that was just kind of a play on, you got to find some things in life for yourself, so maybe they were just encouraging me to look around more, so that's exactly what we're going to do. All right, so this is fascinating to me, and I never knew this, that the Wendy's restaurants were based in Dublin. I always thought it was an American brand, but then I started thinking about it, and you know how like the stereotype of, a lot of Irish people have red hair? Well, I mean, it makes sense if you look at the logo, because, Wendy has red hair. I just never put two and two together. That's crazy, isn't it? Well, I think I finally found this whole Guinness factory situation. I think what they did is they just hid it really cleverly, because they've just made it look like a pub. But if you look up here, I don't know if you can see that, you can actually see they have that Guinness little circular thing. So this has to be it. Now, unfortunately, it's closed right now, so I can't go in. But I hope you've enjoyed seeing the sights of Dublin. And let's stay in this region, and let's go to our next stop on this European road trip. So I'm in London now. Now, London is obviously the capital of the United Kingdom and the former capital of the mighty and powerful British Empire. Now, behind me is what, at least I think, is the Houses of Parliament, and you saw Big Ben up on top there. And then actually behind me, I saw Westminster Abbey right over there. Okay, so I got in the car. I've actually never driven in London, but I have driven on the left side of the road before in other countries, so hopefully it'll be like riding a bike. Let's give it a shot driving on the left side of the road. Oh wait, why is that car coming at me? What? I could have sworn they drove on the left side of the road here. I wonder if that's a Brexit thing. And obviously you have to have British Petroleum here in London. So as I'm driving around, I'm reminded that the food in London has gotten so much better in the past few years. But it's so funny that you don't go to London to eat British food. You go to London to eat food from all over the world. And I mean, it truly is no exception here. Let me show you. I mean, you have American food. You even have specialty food and seafood from the southern part of the United States. It's not just foods from different parts of the world. It's actually being on the cutting edge of food with avant-garde chefs like Heston Blumenthal and, to a lesser extent, Gordon Ramsay and a bunch of people like that. So I found this place here. It's called like Peahat Daddies or something like that. And if you read here, it says they actually will, to eat they will actually dip your hands into the ice cream, which I think that's fascinating. The Londoners are always on the cutting edge of this stuff. Now, another thing London is well known for are its incredible museums. You have the Tate Modern, you have the National Portraits Gallery, and then you have this Madison County Historical Society. Now, I'm not sure what Madison County is or how it applies to Great Britain, but it is always nice seeing the wide variety of museums that London has. So for the next spot, though, for the next spot on this road trip, we're gonna go someplace that's a little bit more foreign, a place that's been in the news recently. I've never been to this place before, so I'm really excited about going there. So I am in Moscow. Moscow is the capital of Russia, of the Russian Federation. Now, this city has been continuously inhabited since the mid-1100s, and it has gone from being kind of a no-name town to the capital of the Russian Empire under the Tsar regimes. And then the capital moved to St. Petersburg, and then it ended up moving back to Moscow. This is probably Cyrillic for city, because obviously Moscow is not a village, it's a very large city. But what I really like is they even put some patriotic messages about the USA, so they must have known I was coming, and you can see they have some United States flags out there as well. And now behind me, you'll see what I'm assuming is Chernobyl. Now, I always thought Chernobyl is a little bit further away from Moscow than literally right next to it. But you're always surprised sometimes when you go to these new places, things tend to be closer together than you thought they were. So we've been to Dublin, we've been to London, we've seen some of the highlights of Moscow, not comprehensively, but some of the highlights. Where should we go next? How about Italy? So I'm in Rome. Now, Rome is the capital city of Italy. It is an absolutely gargantuan town. Again, I don't speak Italian, but what looks like, we would pronounce it township in English. I think it may just mean like capital or something like that. Rome is it's an enormous town. It used to be the crown jewel of the Roman Empire. Sorry, there's a lot more motorcycle traffic. Than I thought there would be in Rome. But it was the seat of the Roman Empire and the Holy Roman Empire, and what would later become the Vatican was originally part of Rome. I've never been to Rome before. I've been to other places in Italy. I've never been to Rome. Now, I gotta admit, it does look a bit different, just like Moscow did, but I still wanna see if I can show you around what I think are some of the highlights. So these right here are what I'm assuming are the famous Spanish Steps. Now, there's a bunch of plazas in Rome, and the Spanish Steps, which are a huge tourist attraction, I'm lucky there's nobody here today, lead from one of these plazas to another. So it's not crowded, so that's awesome. I got to have the Spanish Steps all to myself. I'm here at what I'm assuming is the St. Peter's Basilica. Now, this is more in the Vatican than it is Rome, but this is the headquarters of the Catholic Church, which I don't know why it says Presbyterian there. Maybe that's just a decoy or something. But so St. Peter's Basilica and the whole Vatican, they are famous for things like the Sistine Chapel and all the amazing artwork by Michelangelo. So I really am assuming that's kind of the only church-looking building I've been able to find here in Rome. It does look a little bit different than pictures I've seen of it before, but again, with photographers and their Photoshop, you can't always trust what you see on social media or travel blogs or anything like that. So I finally found it. So right behind me over there. So it's from a distance, I couldn't get that close, but I am like 99% certain those were gladiators fighting. And so by definition, that must be the Colosseum, the famous Roman Colosseum where gladiators would fight back in the Empire days. They would use that to execute prisoners. They would use that for sport. And it's awesome to see that in person. So that brings us to Milan, which I actually didn't know this. Thomas Edison was born in Milan, and that's fascinating me. I always thought he was American, but you know, they wouldn't put it on the sign if it weren't true. So yeah, I definitely learned something today. It's been 23 years since I've been into the center of Milan and seen all the big tourist sites. And so behind me, this beautiful, beautiful church, that's what I'm assuming is the famous Milan Duomo, the famous cathedral that's been there for like 1,000 years. The architecture is just beautiful. Now, what I remember about Milan was people in front of it when there were all these pigeons flying around, and they would put, you know, pigeon food in your hand, and the pigeons would come and get it. But you know, I don't see anything there. So I guess they cleaned out all the pigeons. But yeah, so this I think is the Duomo in Milan. Well, there it is. It turns out Thomas Edison was actually born in Milan. How cool is that? Now, some people overheard me shooting the last video, and they actually said it's pronounced Milan, which I've always pronounced it Milan. I've always heard it pronounced Milan, but they were locals, so I guess they know best. So yeah, Milan, Milan, either way, how cool is it that Thomas Edison was born here? I always thought he was American. Well, it turns out that just like 20 minutes north of Milan is this place, which is apparently the roller coaster capital of the entire world. I don't know how to pronounce it in Italian. I still can't read Italian, but I mean, it just looks phenomenal. Wait, I'm sorry? Sorry, I'm filming it shot. Wait, are you serious? This whole time? Ohio? Well, I gotta apologize, folks. It turns out this whole time I've been in Ohio and not Europe. Now, all the places I visited were real, but I guess that explains why I couldn't find all the things that looked like what I remembered. Man, talk about your big travel oversights. Huh. Well, I mean, I hope you enjoyed it anyway. And yeah, I mean, I guess since I'm already over here, I may as well go ride some roller coasters, huh? Well, I guess on that note, I'm Andy from Andy's Travel Blog, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.